People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. It means the world. What can I say? Fridays equals Q&A days, and I like doing Q&As because I just like doing it. And it's my way of giving back to you lot. I mean, without you asking questions, I couldn't do this. Without you lot being subscribed, wouldn't have 17,000 subscribers. I actually mentioned how I wanted 17,000 subscribers for Christmas, and you lot come like Santa Claus. You lot delivered on that, so big up Santa Claus, you guys, DG Nation and that. So rather than waffle, let me just do exactly what we're here to do and just answer the questions. If I missed you out, don't feel no way. You know it's not on purpose. We go again. But let's kick off things with D Solo. He has asked, what changes do you want to see at Arsenal? How long's a piece of string, my guy? We can be here for time. Mentality change from everybody, whether it's the staff, whether it's the board, whether it's the owners, whether it's the club, the players. You get what I'm saying now. I'm living in cuckoo land. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but mentality, being winners, and that doesn't necessarily mean Champions League winners, Premier League winners. That means like we're serious. Like we're not putting in the performances, the caliber of performances we're putting in currently now. I'm not talking about winning things. I'm talking about pride and all these things, like pride in yourself. Like I'm not seeing pride. Like that question is in a positive way has kind of triggered me. That's the first thing I want to see. Obviously, a greater emphasis on defending. I want Arsenal to play Wenger ball, to do 10,000 passes, so we can... You remember, Arsenal fans, we used to go on BBC and mash up BBC's goalposts to a goalpost because we'd always vote Arsenal players. I want all that lovely technical stuff because you have to play like that in the Premier. If not necessarily like that, you have to be on playing some sort of way, and we ain't got no playing style. We can't defend, we can't do anything. But for me, defense, the foundation first. The change is just the way we look at defending, both tactically and psychologically. Not just the defenders, obviously bring in some, but not just the defenders, the strikers, the midfielders, how we defend outnumbered, how we follow runners, how we defend in games like City where obviously they're going to dominate possession, they've got better players. How do we be tough to break down and stuff? Because you can, listen, as rubbish as some of these managers or teams, you might say, no disrespect for Crystal Palace, but they can... Roy Hodgson, I've seen him coach a back line and they've played well. Big Sam can do that, do you get it? I've seen Chris Wilder, he's a good manager, but you can see they defend. There's no reason why Arsenal... It's just disrespectful not to be able to defend. Like, the whole way we look at defending is very disrespectful. So I want that to change. You learn how to defend, you get the foundations, everything else can follow. Obviously, the attacking football. I'd say competency with our scouting, like a proper strategy, because I don't really see a strategy. Like, what sort of player are we trying to sign, and what are we trying to do in that regards? People, I don't really get it. Like, I'd like to see the scouting thing improved and altered. Probably that. Obviously, at immediate level, the centre half. Yeah, I mean, you lot see it. Centre half, the spine of the team. Obviously, like to flush out the players that don't want to be here, and the players that simply aren't good enough. So I say that, man. Love for your question. Domi's asked, do you think Arsenal are in danger of falling into relegation and becoming Leeds? Well, we could definitely become terrible. I don't know team big enough to go down, but at least this season, I don't think we're going to get relegated. But if you continue to mismanage and you continue to do things, how long's a piece of string, people? Like, we are sleepwalking into the abyss. The severity of what that becomes is as long as these people in prominent positions fail to address things. So, boy, Terence has asked, but thanks for your question. I believe Domi asked that. I forgot to say your username. Terence has said, do you think the club would have been left in better shape had the board not sacked Wenger before his final season? If so, how? I don't think so, because it doesn't matter if Wenger's here, if Glazides is here, whoever's here. You can point some faults at some individuals, but what you cannot do at this club is take a dim view and say it's all Wenger, it's all Glazides, it's all this, it's all that. Even Kroenke, the mentality comes from the top down, but you can't just say it's all him, because I'm sitting here saying we're not spending money, we're mismanaging, but at the end of the day, he's not immediately in charge of the tactical things and what we do on the football field. You get it? He's not in charge of the scouting thing, so you can't hold someone accountable for everything. If you are, obviously is the owner, but I'm pretty sure you get where I'm going. So whether Wenger's here or not, we'd still be in this state, to be honest, people, because we're paying the price for mismanagement at all levels, for just simply making the wrong decisions, for not seeing any having any real foresight, not learning lessons from hindsight. We're here because of bad choices. We're not here by accident. Arsenal didn't sleep one day and go from being invincibles to speaking about coming Emirates and going Bayern Munich level to can't keep a clean sheet. And the one positive, we're here praising, nothing to do with Leno because he's a quality keeper, but the actual stat in top saves made. We're gassed about our player being there. Leno has not had a defence to work with. Our top 6 keepers should not be in them stats. That should all be bottom 3 teams and them things. They don't even know if Watford's keeper's there. It must be. Or whoever's bottom at this moment. But you get the point. So yeah, man, it'd still be terrible, man. It'd still be terrible. Mavro, I believe, has said, not sure if you've answered this before, but why is there such an extreme difference in how people see Xhaka's performances? Because when it's a player like the Xhakas, the Ozils, the even Mustafi, even though he's terrible, you see I've said these names and certain people have remained calm, but certain people are getting vexed. They polarise opinions and we live in a day and age of agendas. 9 times out of 10, Xhaka fails to deliver on the football field, let's be honest. But there are times he's not the worst, or he's actually been alright, but it's his name being thrown and dragged and whatnot, because whether it's social media and you can say certain things and get a reaction, whether it's just scapegoating, whether it's just personal driven agendas that, for instance, I would like to sell Xhaka, but there's someone that would like to sell Xhaka, but he's like, alright, I want to get rid of Xhaka so bad, the first stick that I get, I'm going to smack you with it. Because even with, it's different, but it's like with Arteta coming in, certain, and you're allowed to, I'm not saying you can't question his credentials, I am myself, and the experience stuff, but there's certain people that are like, no, I do not want this guy at my football club. So the minute he loses, or the minute he does things, I'm not saying, again, we're not talking about analysing his performances and positive criticism, I'm talking about scapegoating. It's agendas, really. And his football brings out the extremes and the most childish of emotions in everybody, myself included. I mean, I'm not better than no one, but I'd say that. Tavis said, hey DG, how would you use Guendouzi in a 3-man midfield in a 4-3-3? Well, he can't be the cam, he can't be the DM, so he'd have to be doing box-to-box or deep line in the middle of the park, receiving it off the defensive mids or drifting in off his centre mid partner or off the centre halves or being box-to-box, which I don't necessarily, I think he does it, but I don't really think that's him. I don't really think he's as dynamic enough, but that's probably my bias speaking, because I just don't think Arsenal's midfield is as aggressive, as tenacious, as you know, it's dynamic and agile as I would potentially like it myself. But yeah, that's just that really. That this sort of thing he's doing now, but with trying to, I'd say, try to dictate the tempo of the game a bit more. Just try and make the right option rather than just running about and trying to make the difference purely by application. Try and make the difference from being tactical, because you're a central midfielder. You've got to look at what the best do. You might never hit the levels of Modric and these levels, but you've got to look at the Modrics, the Xavis, what they're doing in your profession. Do you get it? What did they do? Because that's where it is for Guendouzi now. He's still young, he still make mistakes, but it's a case of learning from his mistakes, defining what specific midfielder he wants to be simply. And I'd say being a bit like, he's a very confident lad in possession, but I want him, you see that pass for Aubameyang, what was it, against Spurs? He's got that in his locker more. Bringing that out a bit more, do you get it? Sometimes taking less touches, do you get it? Just these sort of things. But Paul said, how will Arteta set up? Who will he play? And where and what tactics can you see him using? By the way, mega congrats on 17k subs. Expect that to just keep climbing, my guy. Thank you very much for your praise, Paul. Sorry to disappoint you, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I've never seen him manage a team to go on, I don't know, go on websites and conduct some research and saying this, that. I can only go off what we all hear. He's doing his thing with the players, improving them, going off the fact that he's come from La Masia, he's played under Wenger, he's worked with Pep, hoping that it's some positive, free-flowing 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 sort of thing. But I don't know. Until he takes the role, people. He could be a Spanish Tony Pulis for all we know. That's not me. I don't think he is, but until he physically is out there on the training ground, moving people about, or I go to the Emirates and I see what he's done, not a clue, my guy. Hoping he's taking inspiration from Arsenal's previous values and what, okay, we're a long way away from playing like City, but certain things that City do, the emphasis on, as great as they are on the ball, they pass the ball for a specific reason. And what I personally believe is even more impressive than all their tactical stuff, all their technical ability, is the great emphasis on why they do things off the ball. They don't move, players don't just move for the sake of moving. Arsenal, they do, it's just freestyling if we can get some movement. City, Sterling might think, alright, the ball's not coming to me, but I'm going to make this run so that there's space for my friend, and this defender gets tricked. Then his friend says, I don't want the ball, let me drop deep. And then someone might come through on a snaky thing, deep playing, run, a late run, better yet, from deep, and go and do something. I don't see our players educated and cerebral in that, so I'm hoping he brings that through. But to answer your question, not a clue, man. Intercessor said, is Upamecano achievable in the transfer window? Jesus, I don't know, my guy. If we put the money on the table, anything's possible. But I don't know until Arsenal put the money on the table, dude. Mame's asked, why does it feel like Lacazette always has to prove himself? Because he polarises opinions, people. And obviously with, you could say, the lack of balance with having two strikers in the team is going to. Me personally, I think Lacazette's a quality player. I think it's a weird one because he's played 10 games in the Prem, got 5 goals. But I do think he has played poorly at times. And we are at the moment lacking balance, so I do see the case of just Aubameyang and either Martinelli and Pepe, or some different options on the flanks. Listen, people got agendas. Certain people want to sell Lacazette. There's not one Arsenal player that probably even Aubameyang polarizes opinion now. People, for every 10 Arsenal fans that say keep him, they love him. Pardon me, you know, there's fans that say he's overrated, rubbish, this and that. So that's probably why. Tommy said, do you think Arteta will be a success at Arsenal? Bloody hope so. Chase has said, do you think Arteta will come in and be ruthless or more of a yes man? Now, I'm hoping not a yes man. Why I'm hoping he's ruthless, because one, even the managers you see as nice guys, they have some ruthlessness about them. In any management position, you have to have some level of ruthlessness. At least the elite managers, even people get onto Wenger, he would not be a Premier League manager of a number of years and had his career had he not have some level of ruthlessness. Do you get it? It's a bit different in working society, because you do have managers who lack backbones in working life, and they're rubbish managers. Do you get it? They get eaten alive. But the ones that have the balance are them. So I think he does. He'd have to. If you're seeing some of these teams, these players, and the teams they're playing against and the way they're playing, and you're hearing reports that half of the team want to jump ship and go into teams that have more of an opportunity of winning Premier League titles and trophies. I mean, are these players bonkers, people? There's only probably about 5 of these. I'm even being nice. There's probably about 2 players. Leno's linked with Bayern Munich. Aubameyang can get another top club. None of you else, excluding the young G's because of potential and all of that jazz, none of you are playing for sick teams. Lacazette, I love Lacazette, but alright, cool. Lacazette could probably get an Atletico, even though they're not in good form, or these other teams, and be a number 2 or whatever. But at that, shout out to Torreira too, but none of them, when I hear half the team, and I see the way the whole of the team is playing on the Saturdays and Sundays, and I hear half the team saying they want to go and do better things and they want to leave and that, don't get me wrong, you could all go, but are you having a bubble? Are you having a bubble? And when you hear cheeky, smug bullshit, pardon my language, like that, Arteta has to be ruthless. If he's not ruthless, then his job is done out here. Like, he's gonna fail. He would have failed before he started. But Arteta's not an idiot. He's been around Pep. Pep ain't gonna keep idiots around him. So I like to think he is. Jesus, you're bringing the emotion out of me with these Arsenal questions. Man, I might have to ban that. Shout out to you though. I believe that was Chase. If I didn't say Shays, sorry. Zach said, if you were a manager about to be appointed at Arsenal, what guarantees would you demand? I don't think you can guarantee stuff, but I just would like to know, are we on this winning thing? That don't mean trophies. That means when we need to address areas, are we addressing them? When we need to be, I don't know, because I believe it's a short, medium and long term. Short term, we need a centre-half. Long term, well, short term because Aubameyang might leave, but let's just say long term, he's 31. So we got to be looking at that area. Ozil's past it. We need a creative midfielder. Medium term, what are we going to do? Do you see what I'm saying? I need to see the real foresight, real learning from hindsight, just being on the winning thing. Like, are we actually trying, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to do something serious? Like, if we're trying to do something serious, then that's the only guarantee I need. Like, centre half, are we going to do this thing? Can't lie, the budget, you know, like, I can't lie, I would be on the Arteta thing and work with nothing, essentially, but I gotta know that there's something there. Like, if I can do my own little Pepe thing where it's 72 million people, but we all know it's structured different, I need to know I can do that. Because for me, I'm trying to get a centre half, man. I keep saying that, and I keep showing myself. I keep saying centre half, man. I should take a shot every time someone said. In fact, every time DG says centre half today, man. I'm saying it more times than I say people. Zach, you've also said, have you thought about what Arteta's backroom staff would look like? No, but you're already seeing it come to light. You're hearing the names that are being linked with the roles. So I guess the newspapers have answered your question, my dude. SK has said, I love my club, but honestly, I do not want to finish in the top 4 simply because if Man City didn't even get out of first gear and beat us 3-0, imagine what the other top teams in the Champions League could do. I believe that a season outside Europe, no Champions League, no Europa, would benefit us massively in our rebuild and would give us, the whole club from top to bottom, a serious wake-up call. What's your thoughts? I hear that, but I think you could have said that for me, I would be screaming that the year we came out of the Champions League, because we all know Arsenal, even finishing ahead of Spurs, we was winging it a number of years and then we really came bad. That's when alarm bells should ring. Like second year in Europa League, and you see what I'm saying? That's when alarm bells need to ring. Third year Europa League, alarm bells. So is it going to make it, if we don't finish top 6, which potentially, I'm putting it nicely, is a real possibility based on how we're playing, is it a wake-up call where they're going to go, wow? They should be a wake-up call anyway. So while I see your angle and whatnot, I don't personally agree, because on the flip side, getting top 4 might think, all right, let's wake up, we're getting money now. Like, nothing would really change whether we got top 4 or not, Pete, my guy. But on the basis of you saying that you don't want to finish top 4 just because we'll get beat up in Europe, I understand you, I sympathise with you, but I can't agree with that logic, man. We get beat up, but you have to have objectives in the season, and I want to be in Europe's top competition, really. I hear you with not being involved in anything, because I'm on that as well, but I don't want to finish as high as we potentially can just for fear of them sort of things there. I think that's an idiot thing. No disrespect, my dude. But I see where you're coming with. Andrews asked, I believe, why don't we play Lacazette in the number 10? He's got the legs and the strengths to hold up the ball in the counters and can score goals. He's also a good outlet, because we seem not to be able to get out our own half with Mesut. He's got nothing left. Yeah, I would play him. Maybe more so of a support striker, but I definitely get the angle. But some of the same logic that we say about Ozil can be applied to Lacazette, because he is good technically, quick passing and stuff, but he's not the quickest. So we potentially could be saying the same things when it's not going quite well. And I think Lacazette's a baller, but do I think his creativity in the team is potentially overstated? I might lose some subscribers, but to a degree, yes. I think he's a lovely player. He's one of the most creative. I share all of these thoughts with him, bringing the best out in players, and 100% think him playing 10. But I do think people make out that we've got Zidane in his prime with Lacazette. It's not that deep. He's good, but it's not that deep. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying he's not creative. There'll always be one clown who misunderstands what I'm saying, but I know you're smart enough, because you've clearly been watching me enough times and you've been rocking deep as part of DG Nation, so you know the thing, man. But let's move on. Say for your question, Diabolicals asks, what's your dream job? To scout and just a scouting coach. Good question, man. You normally ask me more complex questions, but shout out to you, always. Big up yourself. Alaji said, how are you, DG? I'm good, man. Thank you, man. People really ask that. Thank you very much, my guy. Hope you're good too. What midfielder do you want in the summer? Well, I'm actually on the I think Zachariah's fully convinced me. I think I have concerns over his passing. Couple of concerns here and there, but I think he's one I'd really like. Really like, if possible, really. I'd like Dani Almo. Different profile of midfielder, I guess, than what we need, but he can play as a 10, can play on the flanks. I've actually seen him play as a striker, even though that's not him. Typical Spaniard in that aspect. But I think we'd get some power. If not, we can go and get that lad from Toulouse. Never remember his name, but we need to get some physical strength in the midfield, and I do think we need to get some technical ability. I would like Salzburg Szoboszlai as well, but can't have everything. Well, if we can go find a Kante out there, why not? Someone said, big up DG and the people, and thank you very much, man. You said, mate, did you see Upamecano's performance against Dortmund? We need to grab him quickly before more clubs come sniffing. Clubs already looking at him. Yeah, he had a good performance. Then I must admit, for me, his performances this season can be described as so-so. More on a 6 out of 10 if I had to give it that. But come on, man, bring him to the carpet. We need a defender. We need to improve our outlook on defending, but we need that. Thanks for your question. Aaron Baker has said, how hard was it to contain your laughter when certain media outlets have described Arteta as an Arsenal legend? Bless up, DG. Pushing for 20k before February, brother. Have a good Christmas. Thank you very much for your positive words and your good wishes. And you know me, man. I mean, big up Arteta. I'm not... No malice, but it's completely ludicrous to say he's an Arsenal legend. That legend word, not just for Arsenal, is thrown about way too easily. And certain fans, there's no logic. Because I've seen... People were saying... I've actually seen it. Some people saying Ramsey's not a legend. But then they said Arteta's a legend. No disrespect to Arteta, but if Ramsey's not a legend... No, to put it nicely. So, yeah, man. It was very hard. And when media outlets are saying it's a bit mad. But, yeah. 14 Gooner has said, what can we realistically do to get Kroenke out? Maybe we can do the same as Liverpool fans before exit the game after 20 minutes. To be honest, I don't know. I fully support it, but I have no clue. It is what it is. I don't know. Jamal said... First and foremost, keep doing well, DG. Keep winning, my G, even when Arsenal are not. It's painful for us too, lol. But getting back to the question, I heard that Arteta wants to change the backroom staff again. That will help him with coaching the team, along with potential signings for January. I might not be intelligent enough, my guy, but I assume your question is in relation to the backroom staff. He needed backroom staff because Ljungberg was crying for backroom staff. All Emre's dons are gone. He needs to surround him with people that believes in his philosophy, people that he can trust, people that have different opinions but share the common goal, experienced people to put around him. We needed that. You heard Ljungberg saying that, yo, listen, the board need to give me some people to work with. Clearly, as I said in a couple of vids, we weren't bringing in people because another manager, whether it was going to be Arteta or whoever, was going to bring in their own people. So we're going to have too many people on the books to get. So I think it's by default the change has to happen, my dude. Marble Hills has said, will United finish above us even though we had a better transfer window? If we keep these performances, Watford are going to finish above us, my guy. So, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, why not? Manny Brown has said, what's your thoughts on Aubameyang as a player? I love the guy, but in big games, while he has limited service, he goes missing. Would you cash in if he wasn't to sign a new deal? And if he were to leave, do you trust Martinelli as a successor? Love your content as always, DG. One of the realest fans out there. Keep going, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. But don't forget to take a break with the Christmas holiday. Well, you know I'm going to take a break. You know I'm going to get you. I mean, you lot, one funny thing is, I know I take YouTube very seriously and with my approach and how I handle myself, but you lot have me as this ultra serious guy. Like, maybe one day you get to see YC or something and not necessarily DG, but it'll be different, man. Yeah, but trust me, I'm going to take a break and enjoy my Christmas holidays. Don't worry, my guy. And thank you for your praise. But your question, it's hard. You summed it up. Like, for me, I can't knock Aubameyang. Aubameyang, since Thierry Henry is I forgot we had Van Persie and Alexis Sanchez's season. But in a hot number of years, Aubameyang has been one of the top players to come to this team, and definitely strikers. Like, we've had some dead strikers. Like, remember when our team appeared to have more balance or closer to being completed or looking like a competent side, and we had no striker. Now we've got quality strikers in Aubameyang and Lacazette, and everyone else is more or less dead. It's tough being an Arsenal fan. I love Aubameyang. I feel, on one hand, you've got to accept him for what he is. Like, he's an elite goal scorer. I don't think he's an elite footballer. I think he's shown rain, snow, sun, shine, left wing, super sub off the bench, playing through the middle. He is getting 20 league goals minimum. As a manager in August, to have someone like that, and especially at Arsenal, where there's not really, we can't say, okay, these defenders will get me X clean sheets, this winger will get me 10 goals, you'll get this, midfield will get this, you lot can do this. We ain't got too much man that we can look at in August and say they're doing certain things. Aubameyang is doing that. I feel you've got to take him at face value in that he's never been about general play, so he's not going to change that at 30, 31, whatever. Yeah, I do think his general play is better than people give credit for, but he's never going to be the Lacazette dropping deep. You know him. He's an aggressive striker. He wants to hang on the last man. He wants to run onto things. Pepe loves to come short, and he's good at that. But equally different to Aubameyang. But Pepe also has that running in behind aspect in his game, and I don't feel we play to either strengths. I feel separately we don't play to Pepe's strengths. I do think Aubameyang's a quality player, but I don't feel like a number of players. we don't really realise the player we have and play to their strengths. Like, how many more goals could Aubameyang potentially score if we were knocking it in behind? Like, could you imagine him number 9 at Liverpool? Force Firmino in the 10 role, Aubameyang up front, Mane, Salah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, people, in that sort of environment? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? It's mad. I don't even want to imagine that. But, yeah, I think he's a quality player. I feel his technical ability is average. Is in average by quality standards, but average. Obviously, he goes missing. Like, I feel the same way. Like, on one hand, I sympathise because, again, you have to take people at face value. Like, I think Ozil is past it, but even Ozil, you should... He's always been, even in his prime, he's just here for that poetic motion, poetic justice, poetry, emotion, what's lovely sort of stuff. He's not down for the fighting thing. So, while it's down to him and Aubameyang to kind of tailor their game, you know what they're at. You have different players for different games, so sometimes you shouldn't necessarily put them in, or if that's not them and the game's not going that way, while I think they can pull it out, it's like, how angry can I really get? I feel they don't play to his strengths. I feel if we play into games like we have been playing, where we just have no midfield, there's no intent to go forward, then Aubameyang's just going to keep relying on scraps and not going to be in the game. And even in big games, because when we're playing, especially under Emery, in the cowardly fashion we was, and it's just for a number of weeks now, even now, it's been Aubameyang just... He knows every week he might score, but it's just chasing, just pressing the back line by yourself. He's out of the game. But by the same token, it's give and take. Certain players can pull it out. Regardless of what I've just said, if it's not going well and whatnot, you can do other things, and you can't always escape from things. He does go missing in some games as well, like a number of these players. If he doesn't sign a new deal, by default he has to leave. You have to sell him. And I don't want him to leave, of course not, but it's a business. Listen, I don't think if I'm a team, I'm actually just trying to give Arsenal back the 50 odd million, maybe 60 million euros. I'm not giving you 70, 80 because he's 30, 31. We're going to give him a 3-year deal at best. He's going to sign for a lot of money. Pardon me. You've got no negotiation position because he's got a year left. If we believe reports, he publicly wants to bust out. So you ain't got a leg to stand on, really and truly. He wants to keep it moving. So I'm not giving you no mad fee. So if we get 50, 60 for him, that's good. But we probably have to slap a little more change on a striker that is going to guarantee 20 league goals. I'm all for signing a striker with potential and stuff, but there's a difference. I trust Martinelli to obviously step up, but it's not fair on him because we still don't know his playing level. He hasn't played 10 games in a row or close to that to know his level, and he's still developing. And he's at that stage, like a lot of young players, where when they come through, everybody loves them. When they go through the tough moments, we'll see. He's still developing. You need some experience around that. I think he could contribute, but it'd be... If he shows it, of course, like he does, then of course. And there are some rare incidences. Like, I'm not comparing him to Mbappe, but clearly Kylian's age is irrelevant. He could lead the line and score the goals. To get, if Martinelli can do a thing like that, I'm not comparing them, or you don't have common sense, then why not? But unless it's an anomaly thing like that, no, you need support. Evidently need support. I believe the last question, bro, we've got through these quickly, people. The last question. Abdul's asked, would you convert Bukayo Saka into a left-back like Marcelo? Could he have that type of potential? They look similar in terms of size, skill and technique. What's your take? I believe he can do a job there, and for him, just in terms of footballing IQ and being competent, I believe he should look to improve at fullback. I believe he can do it very well. He's done it at youth level. He doesn't want to be a defender. You can see it though. Like, I played as a right-back, not at his level. So it's a similar thing as a fullback. He doesn't want to do it really. He's just competent enough, and he's almost a victim of his fantastic attitude that he'll do it. He's got that for as good as he is technically, he's got that Milner thing about him. No fuss, get on with it. You can never rule out things, and it could be a good avenue for us and for himself, because you don't know how or where he's going to develop. I think he's a winger, but football has a funny game of showing you things. So who knows, he could be a very good fullback. Personally, I don't think it's a Marcelo thing, and wouldn't look to him as a reference point at all. Purely because I personally just don't believe his future is at fullback, because I think he's got enough to have his future as a winger, but he will play fullback a number of times in his Arsenal career, in my opinion, so he should just look to simply develop at that. And who knows, you might... Yeah, the way you've put... Just to answer your question, you've kind of sold it to me. I'm starting to imagine it now, so why not? On that note though, and on that topic, before I butchered it, it's time to get out of here, people. I'm extremely hungry. As you can probably see on my face now, I'm going to go and eat. On that note, it's been a fantastic Q&A. DG's got to love and leave you though.